Welcome back, guys. In this video we're going to be talking about breakout and traps. So in the previous lessons you must have heard me a couple of times talk about breakout, but in this video we're going to be talking about it extensively. So what is a breakout? A breakout is a stock price moving outside a defined support or resistance level with increased volume. We all know what support and resistances are. So a breakout trader enters a long position after the stock breaks above resistance, and a trader will also enter a short position after a stock breaks below a particular support. So to understand this better, let me give you an illustration on the chart. We know that resistance is always above the price, right? So let's assume this is our resistance, and then we have our support right here. We have another resistance right here. So we have a resistance, we have another resistance, and we have a support and another support here. So let's assume price is at support right now, and then it's moving close to the resistance. As we all know, resistance is the supply zone, and there's a lot of sellers at resistance. So most likely price will drop at first. So let's believe we are in an uptrend, and then the price is about to break resistance. And what do I mean by break resistance? Is when a particular candle ends above this resistance on the particular time frame you are using, or on a specific time frame you are using. So let's imagine we are on a daily time frame. So before we can say there's a breakout of this resistance, a particular candle of a day must end above that resistance with great volume. Do you get that part? So for us to say there's a breakout of this resistance, a candlestick must end above this resistance level for us to consider it a breakout. So there are sometimes you will see a candle forming, and then it will look as if the candle is going to end above the resistance, but at the end of the day the candle body ended below the resistance. In that kind of case, we only have the wick breaking out of the resistance. Remember what a wick is. So we only have the wick breaking above the resistance. In that case, we will not consider the resistance broken. Only a candle body must end above resistance to be able to call that particular thing a breakout. So let's imagine the candle ended above resistance, right? The candle body. Remember that the candle body is the only part that represents a breakout. The wick does not represent a breakout. So let's imagine the candle already broke out. So for every breakout, there's always a retest 70% of the time. So whenever there's a breakout, the price will always come down to retest that place before going up. I want you to remember this well. For every breakout, there will be a retest 7 out of 10 times. Do you get that? So whenever there is a breakout, I'm saying this again because I don't want you to forget. I want you to write this down. For every breakout, there is always a retest 70% of the time. So for a breakout to happen, the candle of that particular time frame must end above resistance. Do you understand? That is how a breakout works. So if we break out of this place, we'll retest it before coming to this place. So if there's a breakout of this current resistance, so the candle body must end above this resistance with great volume. And when I say great volume, it also means so many people bought at that point in time. There are so many buyers in the market to continue pushing the price up. So when there's another breakout here, the price will come down to retest this place before going up. Do you understand? So let's talk about support. Remember, resistance can turn to support. So let's say we have the new resistance here, right? And then price was unable to break that current resistance. So what happened? Remember that support can be resistance and resistance can be support. It now depends on where you see the price. Do you remember what we said in the previous videos about support changing to resistance and resistance changing to support? Right now, because the price broke this current resistance is now serving as support. Do you understand? Because price is above it. So now, right now, we have this current region as support. So let's say price breaks support, and when I say price breaks support, a particular candlestick on that time frame must end below the support level, right? So whenever there's a breakout, I told you there's going to be a retest 70% of the time. So let's say it's retested that support and then it starts to come down. Remember, because we have broken the support, this is no more support. It will now turn to a resistance because price has broken below. Now it's serving as a resistance. What used to be resistance before we serve as support. So now this area is serving as support. So we expect price to bounce. So let's assume price bounces, but we are in a downtrend, of course. So at one point in time, price will have to break the support. So let's say a candlestick ended below this support. So right now, this current support will be serving as resistance because price already broke below it. So now it's serving as resistance, no more support. So this is how breakout works. Do you understand? So I would like to show you this in a real life scenario, right? So let's clear this up. So remember I said for every breakout, 70% of the time, there will be a retest of that region. So if price breaks above resistance, the price will always come down to test that place before going up. If it's a support, if price breaks support, the price will come back up to test that support before going down. For example, this was a support, right? This area was a support. Remember, price touched it, it bounced. Price touched it here, it bounced. Price touched it here, it bounced again. But the only time price broke it was here. Remember, the candlestick ended below. The body of the candlestick ended below this region. The region was support, right? But the candle ended below it. That is a complete breakout. If you look at this candlestick where you can see that the body ended below the support level. So in this case, we can say the support has been broken. And when support was broken, what happened? That support will change to resistance, right? So now, I told you that for every breakout, there is going to be a retest of the breakout region, right? When this candlestick broke the support, what happened to the price? The price came back up to retest it before coming down. So that is what I'm talking about, retest. Retest is a very important factor in trading. You always want to wait for a retest just in case you don't end up in a breakout trap. Very soon, I'm going to talk about breakout traps. So breakout is basically when price ends above or below support or resistance. Do you understand? So let's pick another example. This is another support here. So we have the support here, right? Let me make the candlesticks bigger so you can see this clearly. So we have a support. Remember, when price touched it, it bounced. This is how you know support. It bounced again. Here, it bounced. The only time there was a breakout was this place. So this candle ended below the support. So immediately the candle ended below support, that particular support started acting as a resistance. And after the breakout, you can see the breakout. After the breakout, when the price went down, price came back to retest that region. So this retest always gives you the opportunity to enter a trade. So let's say you want to enter a short trade. You don't enter a short trade immediately after a breakout. You want to see a retest of that breakout before entering a trade. So this is the part where we are going to enter a trade. Let's say we want to enter a short trade. We don't enter a short trade immediately after the breakout. You want to see a retest. So once it is retesting that place, then you can easily take a short trade, and when price is dropping in a short trade, you will be making money. So let's look for a resistance. Let's clear this up. Another example, this is a resistance. This area is a resistance. Remember, you don't draw resistance with just one line. You want to use these boxes. You want to use a price range. Do you understand? So now, there was a time this part was a resistance. You can see when price got there, it came back down. And price got there again, it came back down, right? The price did not break this region. The only time price broke this region was here. So this green candlestick actually broke above this region. When it broke above this region, it went up, right? Price went up. I told you about retest. I said 70% of the time, price will come down to retest this place before going up. So let's say you want to take a long trade. You don't want to take a long trade immediately after a breakout. You want to see a retest. And there are two retests here. This was a retest and this was a retest. You could have entered the trade here. Let's say you didn't enter the trade here. It gave you another opportunity to enter the trade again. Do you understand? So let's assume we took a long trade. You can see taking a long trade here will have given you about 67% profit. Do you understand? So that is how breakout works. So for every breakout, there is a retest of that region. So if a price breaks out of resistance, price will always come down to that resistance to test it before going up. If there's a break below support, price will go back up to that support to test it before continue going down. So let me do a quick recap with my illustration. So right now we have a resistance and then we have a support. If price breaks below support, right, remember to consider something a breakout, the candle body must end below that support. So let's assume the candle already ended below support. There will be a retest of this region before it will continue going down. So it is the retest region where you want to be taking your trade. Because it's a downtrend, you are going to be taking a short trade. So when price drops, you make money. That's the advantage of margin trading. Do you understand? So for a resistance, so let's say price got to resistance, rejected it a little bit, but later it broke it. You don't want to take a trade instantly. You want to wait for retest of that region before taking a trade, because the retest of that trade will give you a confirmation that there is higher low that actually formed. And when there are higher lows in your chart, it means price is going up. So this retest is basically a confirmation of an uptrend. Do you understand? 70% of the time, a retest after breakout happens. So let's get back to our slide. So we have what is called traps. You can also call them breakout traps. So there are sometimes you would think there has been a breakout of resistance or support, but the institutional traders or the market makers, those are the people that can influence the market. Those are the people that have billions and billions of dollars to trade. The market makers want you to enter a breakout trap so you can lose a lot of money in the market. And so many traders have lost huge amount of money in the market due to fake breakouts. So a breakout can be fake. Do you understand? That is why it is very necessary to wait for a retest before you enter a trade after a breakout. So let me give you an instance of a breakout trap.